our friend Jeff Goodman of CBSSports.com. Jeff Goodman, how are you?
I'm good. If you hear some noise in the background, it's just me cleaning up. As I told you, we're putting our house on the market. Maybe moving to Lexington, Matt. What do you think?
So you're telling me someone could have the Jeff Goodman compound. It's for sale right now.
It's not much of a compound, so you're good with it. Yeah, we're just moving within the state. We're you know what? I can live kind of wherever I want, and I tried to get my wife to move outside of the state to a better basketball hotbed, whether it be the Midwest, whether it be North Carolina, something like that. But she wasn't going for it, so we're staying in the state, trying to get closer to the beach, to the water.
I got you. Well, let's talk about what happened yesterday. And you, on another radio show here in town, said a couple things, but I think the biggest part of it was you said that for the first time, I believe publicly, although maybe I'm wrong, that Calipari had tried at some point to get you fired. I'm going to let you talk about what you're comfortable talking about, but can you expound on that a little bit? Because I'd never heard you say it publicly.
Yeah, I think I'd said it once or twice before, and maybe on, I don't know, some sort of chat. Maybe last year on that midnight, the marathon chat we had.
Yes.
I probably said it on there. I thought it was kind of out there, and you know me, I try to honestly be as forthright and, honest as possible. And basically, it came after I wrote a couple stories back when he was at Memphis. The first one was, I think, in 2008. They were number one, undefeated, playing Tennessee, and they had 6 players get into trouble, legal trouble, within a short period of time. Pierre Niles, I don't know if you remember that, and he punched a fan at UAB. Joey Dorsey made it rain and punched somebody in a club. Robert Dozier allegedly hit his ex-girlfriend. There were 4 or 5 things. So I wrote a story just saying that, I thought that Cal should probably put a curfew in and try to reel them in, or else they're not going to do anything. And we were fine. To be honest, Cal and I, that year, that was February 2008, that preseason, me, Derek Kellogg, Robick, Cal, we all went out for dinner at Gus's Chicken in Memphis when I came through.
Ooh, Gus's Chicken! Wow, that's very impressive.
Big time.
So was it at Fox? Is it at Fox that this happened?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Well, so the one that triggered it wasn't that one. I mean, that was part of it. After that, he had Derek Kellogg call me and say, "You're not welcome in Memphis." And I said, you can't ban anybody from an entire city. I'll be down there for the Tennessee game. Came down, then wrote the story on. You remember the kid Abdul Gaddy? Remember that name? He's at Washington. Yeah. He was the number 1 point guard in the country. Mother worked at FedEx for 12 years. The CEO, David Bronzek of FedEx, called the mother, and I had the mother, the kid, everybody on the record admitting that this guy Bronzek was basically recruiting the kid to Memphis and saying he should go there. And I wrote that story, and that was the one that basically.
But when you say tried to get you fired, I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, that's to me, Jeff. That's a pretty strong accusation. What are you talking about?
Well, he called the higher ups at Fox and tried to get me fired. Plain and simple.
So, and you're 100%
said some things that weren't accurate about me, and was trying to get me fired.
And you're 100% convinced that's true.
100%.
All right. So your second part of that, and you brought it up in the context of saying it's harder sometimes maybe to be objective, I think, about somebody who you say tried to get you fired, which gets me to the second part. Ryan and I were talking about this earlier, and Jeff, you and I talked about this last night. If somebody tried to get me fired, and there have been people who have tried to get me fired, there's no way that I could like them.
Completely objective. It'd be tough.
It's impossible to me. So how do you think you can do it?
It's not impossible. Trust me. I disliked my former boss at the Associated Press a whole lot more than I did at any point with John Calipari. I just don't like how he went about it more than anything. I just feel like, again, we all have thin skin to some degree, but that's not the way to go about it. These were 2 completely factual stories. Completely factual that were written about him. And if anything, he could have called me up, whatever. But to go the route he did, I lost some respect for him. Does that mean
So do you honestly think after that, Jeff, though, do you honestly think that you don't hold any grudge towards him after what you believe was him attempting to get to help make you lose your job?
If I did, and again, I know you'll say, well, it's one story, but try to find a lot I've written about Calipari. There's not a lot. I look back. In 2011, shortly after the story on Abdul Ghadi, okay? I write a story, headline is Calipari's Brilliance as UK in Final Four. Okay,
but I also remember the story you wrote on the eve of the Final Four last year about the graduate assistant. I can't remember the guy's name.
Bilal Bali.
Yeah, Bilal Bali. I mean, you take shots. You know this. You take shots on Twitter, on radio shows all the time.
Shots. They're not by me saying that John Calipari is a Fenway, I should go over and join him or something like that or whatever. Honestly, I'm trying to have fun, and some people, again, they take it the wrong way. I understand it, but that's just my nature. My nature, and my wife yells at me about it all the time, is I'm too sarcastic at times.
Well, I like your sarcasm. I like your sarcasm. Here's what I would say, though. I like your sarcasm fine, and I'm very sarcastic. I'll make fun of a lot of things, even including, Cal getting all the time. But when I make fun of Pitino, it's clear when I make fun of Pitino that I'm not a fan of Pitino. I feel like with you, when you make fun or sarcastic or joke about Cal, it's clear you don't like him. And so I don't understand, Jeff, why you don't just admit that. Just admit you don't like him.
To be honest, I can't say that. I mean, again, I don't like what he did. I'm not going to hang out with him. I'm not going to go and make up with him and say, hey, everything's hunky-dory. I stay away. He stays away. We both go about our business, and it's fine. And I'm objective with what I write.
So do you think?
Matt,
go ahead.
I still say, again, find somebody that's been more objective as a national writer about John Calipari than me. I've written it both ways. Now, you've got other guys that always write pro John Calipari, and you know that. You can admit that, I think.
I agree with that, and you got other guys who write negative.
Absolutely. I think you could, if you looked at all I've written, I think you could agree that I'm somewhere in the middle.
I would not, look. I said this to you last night. If you sit down to write a piece about Cal, I do believe you try your best to be objective.
I think I am.
That doesn't mean, to me, Jeff, that doesn't mean you are objective because you don't like him. And it's okay, but I don't know why you don't just admit it. There are people I don't like. Why not just say? Because it's hard for me to believe a guy that you think tried to get you fired, you just be like, well, let me put it like this. Do you like Cal?
Do I like him?
Yes.
On a personal level, no. As a coach, I think he's a terrific coach. So,
okay, and I agree with that.
I can separate.
I know that's what you think. I like him, but let me ask you, because I know you got to go.
Listen. I do like his personality. I think he's absolutely entertaining, and I miss that. I miss dealing on that level with him over the last 5 years because I think he's one of the most entertaining coaches in America. Does that mean I think he's not full of crap with a lot of the things he says and spins? Of course, but
so you find him entertaining, but you don't like him.
Again, it's if somebody did that to you, you would.
I totally agree with you. Listen,
it would be different. It's a different deal. Do I hate him? No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't hate my former boss at the AP. I did for a while, but I get over it. I get over it because life's too short. Again, you know me. I'll get into battles. I got into one with Adam Zagoria years ago. I apologized to him because I acted like a complete jackass.
And you got into one with me last month at the Peach.
And I apologized to you. I acted like a jackass. I acted immature. Listen, there are plenty of things I'll do in my life that I'll continue to do that I'll regret. Again, I believe I can completely and have completely separated the fact that I think he's a hell of a basketball coach, the best recruiter in the industry. The combination of Cal and Kentucky is impossible to beat right now. As I think I told you last night, go ask Nerlens Noel what I told him about Kentucky. Go ask him.
All right, last question then, because I know you got to go. If you were to sit down and be either on your own volition or CBS asked you to do it, you were to do some type of investigation or look into something involving Kentucky, akin to Enos Cantor's eligibility or the Eric Bledsoe grades thing. Do you believe that saying publicly, John Calipari tried to get me fired, will hinder your ability to do that in the future?
Again, I think if you look back at my track record and what I've written about him, no. But and the other part of that, the other aspect is the fact that I think a lot of Kentucky fans, regardless of what I would say, do not think I'm objective with John Calipari because I write the truth. That's my opinion. I write the truth both ways, and fans do not want to hear the truth both ways. They don't. They just want to hear, most fans, not all of them. There's some that are completely realistic, a.k.a. Josh Hopkins, who I think is pretty darn good. And there's plenty of you. There's plenty of you like that. But again, I think if you look at my track record and don't just come out with that comment, but examine what I've written, I think you'll come to the conclusion that I'm pretty damn objective both ways.
So you don't think it would hinder you?
I hope it wouldn't. Again, I don't know. I can't speak for that because everybody's going to have their own opinion, Matt. But all I'll say is if they look at what I've written, and again, on Twitter, yes, I have more fun. No question. But that's what Twitter should be. Twitter should show your personality. Both ways.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that. Last question, this thing that just came out where, Cal, you all interviewed coaches. Somebody asked a good question last hour. When you say coaches, are we talking head coaches? Are we talking assistants at D3? Who are these coaches?
Well, I mean, for me, it was all high major head coaches and high major assistant coaches. Now, Matt Norlander, it was probably more mid-major, because those are the guys that he knows a little bit more. But for me, and the probably 40 or 50 that I talked to and interviewed, it was almost all, maybe 90% of them were either high major head coaches and assistant coaches or guys that had been high major assistant coaches and now were low major head coaches. So they all.
Do you think that 36%, the 36% that says Cal, is that jealousy?
I think, yeah. I mean, again, I've told you, I don't think Cal needs to cheat at Kentucky. I don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Jeff. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing this.
Again,
and let me just tell you,
I'm not running to hide on something like that.
You're one of the only people. You're one of the only people that would do this, maybe the only person. So I very much appreciate you taking the time, and good luck selling that house, all right?
Well, I'll tell you the
And next time I try to send you a table full of drinks, don't turn me down, Jeff.
Yeah, I was pissed off at you. I was pissed off at what you said.
I know, but do you not think that was not the way to handle it?
It was juvenile, but I've never denied that I can be juvenile.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. I appreciate it.